In the 2015 episode of Protecting Mauna Kea, the stand was up at near the visitor center, which is up at altitude much higher, and it's much more stressful and physically difficult. It's hard to breathe, the air is thin, the UV rays are much harsher, and it's a lot colder. Because now that we're down near Saddle Road, easier for the kupuna to be here. It's not as harsh on them physically. And they've decided that since it's accessible to them, that they're going to take the lead. They have told us that they will be the front line.
The
kupuna was excited and ready to jump up and be a major part of this effort. And without any hesitation whatsoever, they decided. We had a long discussion and we tried to negotiate some things out with DLNR. And out of the 4 things we wanted, they gave half of one thing and they denied the other 3. And the kupuna said, that's it. If they're not going to listen to us, if they're not going to negotiate with us, then tell them to come and arrest us.
Warriors who have been here from way before. Some of these individuals are the ones who gave us the whole Hawaiian Renaissance in the 70s. For me, it's like that's a kupuna. They go and stand, and what a wonderful, beautiful examples of that. So any of us who say, oh, I don't know if I can, it's like, look, Auntie did it.
Leave them alone! You arrest them! You arrest me! Arrest the kupuna!
The kupuna are blocking the road. They have tents across the road. They've been sleeping in those tents. They've been engaging in daily activities in those tents with speeches and teach-ins. Many hula practitioners are doing hula dances and cultural demonstrations. So because of our proximity lower on the mountain, the kupuna are able to hold it down as the front line and telling us, Opio and Makua, that you get behind us. We're gonna take this one and lead it in protecting the Mauna Kea with a kupuna road blockade.
We're not going away. We truly are not going away. We're going to be here for however long it takes to ensure that our aina, our mauna, is protected into perpetuity, not going away.
I'm here to listen. Thank you already for so many extraordinary perspectives.
For myself, I would have a request that the emergency declaration be rescinded since there is no emergency, and that any armed law enforcement or any of those kind of threats stop now, so that we can be here and feel safe without that kind of aggression or intrusion while we're moving through this process.
I honestly can't fathom any kupuna getting arrested. That is very hard. It's very hard for me to fathom, even though it happened. So I can't fathom it happening again.
I will get arrested again, because I have nothing else. They have nothing else. So this is really deep. I mean, for the officials, the higher officials, to make a decision to strip those things from us, away from us, is like a violence. It hurts. It hurts. And right now, that area is subject to a lot more hurt, and that's why we're here.
I said to some of the younger leaders that the kupuna are ready to stand. You know, they're very protective of us. We have been taught all our lives to malama our kupuna. And so I was asked to say a few words to them. And what we asked of them was a difficult thing. We asked them to stand down. The kupuna are asking you to be a witness to what will take place and to sit, because if you're standing you might just react, because our na'au tells us to protect our kupuna. That's how we're raised. And so we asked them to sit, to maintain kukualoha, and to honor the request of their kupuna.
I think that it's been an honor for me to have several hours actually of continuous, passionate testimony from people who go back decades and decades, longer than we are old.
When they came on this past Wednesday, watching our kupuna, not just in and I don't use the word defiance, that's the wrong word, but integrity. Integrity, the manner of who we are, sitting strong. You know, there's nothing they can do to us to take that away from us. And then when I saw the kupuna getting arrested and taken away, I could not believe that they were giving that to us. Because once that happened, I knew. In fact, our whole objective is starting with the idea. Once we get one kupuna line formed, our people will rise, just like the wisdom of our kupuna of the past. The same bravery that allowed those canoes to first leave, to travel the Pacific, that same bravery is still alive with us today. The same ingenuity they made our kupuna develop a society with our fish ponds and our lo'i, being able to feed the masses. That ingenuity is alive amongst us today. The lesson of Laulima is alive and well here today. This is not something you gotta read about in some old Hawaiian Studies cultural textbook. You come here, we're living our true sense of who we are, our culture. So I just like to say, from the bottom of my heart, and I look at this kupuna, you see Eti Hoku coming from Maui, Eti Pua, Billy, I mean all the kupuna here, when they collected themselves, we brought out our trumps playing this game. Trump tight. There's nothing they can do at this moment but to recognize we are no longer invisible. We will no longer not be heard. That we have come reborn to determine for ourselves the future of our mo'opuna. So with that, mahalo nui e na kupuna, standing strong and showing not just our people but the world of how we do it. Not just for here, but how the whole world needs to move forward. Mahalo nui.
I'm so impressed by the Kupuna and the Hawaiian people today, because I think that what's gone on in these last 8 days is they've awakened the international community of indigenous people, and I think this is a time globally when the indigenous peoples all across the world can learn from Hawaii.
We continue to stand strong. We continue to stand in Kapu Aloha. We continue to commit to our goal, which is to prevent the desecration of Mauna Kea again through the building of the 30-meter telescope. And just a huge mahalo to everybody. We will continue to give you updates. And when that kahea goes, at some point in time, we don't know when that will be, but when it goes out, we ask those to answer it, to respond. And as we've been saying for a few years, when the time comes, we'll see you on the Mauna.